Hello peeps! Welcome to Let's Talk, the place to pep up your English skills. My name is Michelle and today you're learning 25 everyday English words that are always mispronounced. As in, most people make mistakes with these words. Do you want to know what they are? Well, let's then look at the first one. So the first word that you have is introduction. That's right, my friends. You don't say it introduction, but you call it as introduction. Let's try it again. Introduction. So, where do you think the stress is? Well, the stress is on this syllable. And remember that the stress before shun is always on the syllable before that. Okay? So, it's introduction right before shun. All right, let's look at a sentence with this one. Some people need no introduction. Their work says it all. As in, there are few people who are so good at their work that you don't need to tell about them because everybody knows that their work is really good. So this can be used probably for a colleague who is really good, and when you're introducing them, you could probably use this sentence. It'll be a great one. Well, let's move on quickly to the next word for the day, and that is, how do you say this word? It's not forget, but forget. You know, the furry cat, the word fur, right? So that's the same word that you're using here. You're saying forget, forget. And where do you think my stress is? Well, the stress in this word is on get. Okay, let's look at an example. Just forget about what happened and move on. As in, whatever happened, forget about it, don't worry, and move on to the future. Now let's move on to the next one. Now we have, how do you say this? Deodorant. No, you say it as deodorant. Let's say it again. Deodorant. So the stress is on o, deodorant. Okay. Now let's look at a sentence. It's a good idea to carry a deodorant in your bag. Well, I think that is true. It's always a good idea to carry a deodorant in your bag. Otherwise, you have the risk of stinking in front of other people, which is not good. Okay. Now we have this word. So you have to be careful with C and H over here because they don't have the sound ch, which these two letters, when they come together, generally have. But here the sound is k, which is chaos. Let's try it together. Chaos. And the stress is on K. Chaos. What is chaos? Well, chaos is when you're absolutely confused, okay? Or things around you are in a complete mess. That's chaos. If you take more than 1,000 people in the auditorium, it would create a chaos. It sure would. Okay. Now let's move on to this word. Well, the mistake with this word is that people often stress it on he, okay, when it's supposed to be stressed on red. So you say it as hereditary, okay? Hereditary. Say it again. Hereditary. Right. So as you notice, there is this syllable in between, red. So if you remember red, you'll be able to remember the pronunciation. Let's look at an example. Diabetes is a hereditary problem, okay? So it's pretty simple. Hereditary is something that comes to you from generations. The next word is again super common, okay? This word is called electrician. Electrician, okay? So that's how you say this word. Let's look at an example. We need to get an electrician to fix the fused light. Where's the stress? Well, I told you at the beginning of this lesson that the stress with the words that end in shun is right before it. Electrician. Wonderful. Now moving on. Neglect. Yes, this word is pronounced as neglect. And let's look at an example. The government schools in India are often neglected, which means they're not paid so much attention to. Okay, now we have this word. Well, in this word, we stress on MO, okay? So you say it like demography, demography. So the stress is on mo. Let's try it again, demography. And an example. In the last 10 years, the demography of our city has changed completely or rapidly. Now, what is demography? Well, demography is the people in your city, the number of people in your city. It's been changing rapidly. Okay. Now we have this word, and this word has a silent letter. Can you guess which one? Let's find out. So, which letter is silent? Quite easy. It's S. We don't say the S, we say debris. Let's try it again. Debris. Okay, so debris are the remains. So when something is destroyed, whatever remains is called debris. After the crash, debris from the plane was scattered over a large area, which means the remains from the plane. Now the next word. How do you say this? There's one more letter here which is silent, and that is E. Okay, now see how it's pronounced. You know cash in terms of money, right? So those money or dollar bills, they're called cash. But here, this is a word which is related to computers, and it's also called cache. Let's look at an example. Empty your computer's cache regularly. It would perform better. Okay, now we have this word. How do you say this? Okay, this word is a bit tricky. You have to listen to it carefully. It's radar. Radar. Okay, so let's look at an example for this word. File your taxes honestly, else soon you will be on the income tax department's radar. This means that they'll be on the lookout for you. They'll be waiting to find you and to sue you because you've not been paying your income taxes properly. Okay, so this word is radar, okay, which sort of means in range. Okay, now moving on to the next one. This is a very common word and we often mispronounce it. It's negotiate. Let's try it again. Negotiate. Okay, it means to basically deal with somebody, okay, especially related to money when you want to bargain or when you want to discuss with them the price for something. So that's negotiating. I'm sorry, I can't negotiate the price any further. Take it or leave it, which means accept it or just leave it. Okay, moving on. Here we have another word. It's called as hypnotize. Hypnotize, which means basically casting a spell on somebody and getting them to believe everything that you say. Okay, so an example. He was hypnotized by her beauty. Well, this is also possible. So if you're really attracted to a person, you can say that I'm hypnotized by her beauty. Okay. Now we have this really common English word. It's a grammar word which is often mispronounced. So guys, it's not adjective, but it's adjective. Try it again. Adjective. And the stress is on a. Adjective. Okay, now let's look at an example. You should use adjectives to sound more expressive. Perfect. So that's pretty easy. And now we have this word. This word is pronounced as ambitious. Try it again. Ambitious. Well, what does ambitious mean? Well, ambitious means when you have really big dreams and you want to fulfill them. Rima is quite ambitious about her career. Oh yeah, this is another one that you've got to be careful of. Not carrier, but career. Okay, moving on to the next one. So this is the name of a month and it's pronounced as, this is A. April. April. Okay. How many of you have your birthdays in April? So if you're speaking to a couple of people, you could say it that. How many of you have your birthdays in the month of April? Okay. Now we have this word and let's look at the pronunciation and then understand how to pronounce it. So it's, as you can see, the last sound in this word is a bit stretched and you must get that as well. So it's automobile. Try it again. Automobile. Okay. The automobile industry is the first to get affected in a recession. So what is a recession? Well, recession is an economic decline when the economy is suffering basically because of, whatever is happening in the country. And in such a situation, the automobile industry is the first one to suffer. And now we have this one, which we have every morning. It's breakfast. Try it again. Breakfast. You should not skip your breakfast. It is the first meal of the day. Well done. Now we have this word, and here you see that we have the word cap, okay? And let's see how we pronounce it. So this word cap is actually not pronounced as cap here. It's pronounced as cup. Capacity. Try it again. Capacity. Well done. Okay, let's look at an example. The auditorium has a capacity to take 1,000 people. okay? But not more than that, because if there are more than 1,000, then what will happen? There'll be a chaos. Yes, you learned this word earlier in the lesson. Okay, now let's look at this word. So this is where you put your letter or any particular message or a slip of paper inside, and it's called as envelope. Envelope. Okay, remember that the ending is not lup but lope. People often say envelope when it's supposed to be envelope. Okay, now let's look at an example. Can you pass me that red envelope? Wonderful. Now we are moving towards our next word. So this word means to help somebody, okay? And the pronunciation is this. Facilitate. Facilitate. Sometimes this word is also used for events, for organizing events. Okay, let's look at an example. YouTube has facilitated quality learning online, which sort of means provided or given. Okay, so that's facilitated. Try with me again. Facilitated. So remember that this FAC is not facilitated but facilitated. Okay, moving on. So this word, you know what it is, right? On a man's face, you find it here. It's called moustache. Try it again. Moustache. This might be a new one for you because this one is a bit tricky. So, moustache. Growing a moustache is quite in fashion these days. Yeah, not only a moustache, but also having a beard is quite in fashion these days. Don't you think? Okay. Now we have this word, which we often have in the mornings, especially when we're having breakfast. I love having a smoothie of banana. Okay, I love having a banana smoothie. Let's look at a sample sentence. I eat at least one banana for breakfast. So it's not banana, but banana. Try it again. Banana. Perfect. Now this word, well, if you want to improve your English, then you need a lot of preparation. That's right. Preparation. Preparation. Let's look at an example. If you want to crack the IIT entrance, you need to begin the preparation now. Well, guys, for improving your English, you need something more than preparation, and that is repetition. Yes, which is what you need to do in this lesson. So if you have learned all the words today, then what you need repetition. Yes. Try it again. Repeat after me. Repetition. Did you hear? I said repeat and repetition. Well, both of them have different pronunciation. Okay, let's look at an example. Constant repetition makes it easier to pronounce words correctly in English. Well, that's exactly what I said. So do remember, guys, that after watching today's lesson, you do a lot of preparation and also some repetition so that your pronunciation skills can actually improve. Well, I hope that the 25 words that you learned today, you will stop making mistakes with those and get the pronunciation right. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you soon in another lesson. Till then, keep speaking and keep practicing English. Bye-bye.